Hello and welcome to Vigas Mudra channel. I am Hari Kumar with Insights. The suicide of a government contractor in Karnataka, allegedly following threat from a state minister to give him huge bribe, has brought to light the severe anomalies existing in the infrastructure and construction sectors in India. This has also stressed the need for ensuring transparency in infrastructure development in India. This is especially true when the government of India has launched a major initiative named National Infrastructure Pipeline, which includes all the major infrastructure projects in the country. This is of an estimated cost of around 111 lakh crore Indian rupees, which is a mind boggling sum. This comes to over 1.5 trillion US dollars, and the money earmarked for NIP in India is much over the National Infrastructure Initiative launched in the United States by President Joe Biden. And the amount is almost the same as what China has earmarked for its International Infrastructure Development Initiative named Belt Road Initiative. So the government of India is now spending huge money for the infrastructure development of the country. And so naturally it is essential that the government took steps to ensure transparency in the execution of projects. Though it is true that the central government projects are executed much better and in a more transparent way than infrastructure projects are executed in states, the central government also needs to ensure that common standards exist in the country for infrastructure development, and transparency also exists all over the country in the construction and infrastructure development sector. Across many states, the same situation as that caused the suicide of contractor Santosh Patil in Karnataka exists. In Karnataka, following public outrage, the Minister for Rural Development, K.S. Eshwarappa, who is allegedly the man who forced the contractor to suicide, has resigned. And actually, he was asked to resign. But will the removal of one person from the ministry really change the situation? Or is it necessary that the government took steps to address basic flaws in the system which are leading to corruption, cronyism, and all other negative factors in the construction sector? Let us check it. In fact, Karnataka is not an exception. Corruption is there throughout the country. Even in Karnataka, the Karnataka Government Contractors Association said all political parties used to take bribes. They said it was around 10 to 15%, but the present minister, the rural development minister, they alleged that he demanded around 40% of the estimate as a bribe, which is a very huge amount, and they said by paying such huge bribes, the industry cannot survive. And they have written to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well as the President of India. And the Karnataka government has, of course, the Chief Minister has taken some steps to address basic flaws in the system. The government has now formed a 3-member committee headed by a retired High Court judge to scrutinize projects which are over 50 crore and approve the projects and ensure that it is executed transparently. So a beginning has been made in Karnataka. A few weeks before the suicide of Mr. Santosh Patil, Confederation of Government Contractors in Kerala met at Thiruvananthapuram, the state capital, and requested the state government to urgently take steps to address the grievances raised by different associations of contractors in the state. They said that the construction sector in the state is facing a real crisis because of the huge price rise in construction materials. They demanded that the government take immediate steps to address various basic issues in the industry, which will go a long way in addressing different ills that grip the construction and infrastructure sector in India. They pointed out that it is those basic flaws in the system which creates room for corruption as well as cronyism and all other malpractices and malfeasance among officials. So, those meaningful suggestions include one, including a price difference clause in contracts. It means that if the prices of construction materials rises over 5% of the amount earmarked in the estimate, the government needs to compensate contractors. Similarly, if the prices fall, the contractors needs to return the money. So that will create a win-win situation for both parties and will result in a healthy condition in the industry. And that will actually create, give an inspiration to contractors to do quality work. That is one thing. The second most important thing they demand is to hand over sites to contractors once the agreement is signed. If there is delay in handing over contract sites, the contractors say the delay could be months or even a year. So if that happens, the contractors won't be able to complete work on schedule and it will create tension. It will create friction between those who award projects and those who execute the projects. So that is another important thing. Then the contractors say once the government provides technical sanction to a project, the authorities needs to stick to it. The government or any other group who are powerful should not force contractors to alter the project once technical sanction is given. They say once it is altered, it will create huge problems and eventually the execution will be flawed. So that should not happen. This is another thing. The contractors demand that when the government gives administrative sanction to a project, it should ensure that it has enough money to execute the project. In many states, what happens is that even not just months, even after years, contractors are not paid. In Kerala, in the past, one major official of a big construction company, Padibel, he was a Malaysian national. His name was Lee Sibin. He committed suicide following delay in getting payments from the state government. He couldn't delay payment to his clients, but the government delayed him paying money. So he was forced to commit suicide. So such incidents happen in India in several places that should not be allowed to happen. So when the government awards a project, it should ensure that there is enough money in the coffers. This is another important thing. Again, the contractors say there should be equal accountability because they are just executing a project as per the approved design of the government and officials. So the contractor is not designing the project, is not approving the project, and every project is being supervised by officials. So simply passing the buck to contractors is not fair. That is not a fair game. So they say that each and everyone involved in a project should be made accountable. This is also another important thing. Then the Contractors Association in Kerala has a meaningful suggestion. They say there should be a construction development council national. So this council should have powers. So whenever there is a problem, whenever there are disagreements between awardees and those who execute projects, the construction development council should be empowered to decide certain things. So if such a council comes into existence and they set common standards in the country, that will go a long way in solving basic issues in the infrastructure development and construction sectors. Again, the contractors demand that the government should publicize agreements signed between contractors as well as authorities. So that will ensure transparency. If the agreements are on the public domain for the public to scrutinize, then everybody will come to know who is responsible for the flaws in executing a project. So, a few things they have said. These are all some of the suggestions to rectify the faults in the system, which will go a long way in correcting the system, and that will minimize opportunities for corruption as well as cronyism. So, once basic flaws are addressed, many issues will be solved. That is what contractors say. I think there is merit in this argument. So let us hope that Government of India takes initiative to address the basic flaws in the system and ensure transparency. Removing one person will not make a system clean. The next person could be more corrupt. So it's for the government to act on the suggestions. This is for now. Meet you next time with another topic. Till then, goodbye. Namaskaram.